What to do, combo gurus? This is a quick live stream, just a quick update. WAYMO rant on the way. Quick show update. There is no show this weekend. I'm going to be taking the weekend off, spending some me time, alone time, hanging out with the fam. But do want to give a little update here. Yeah, there's a lot that's been going on in the comic book community, especially with a friend of mine, evidently. And I'm not going to go too much into it, and I don't want to take up too much time. This is going to be a real quick rant, and then I'm done. Moving on with life. Here's what I got to say. First off, if you happen to be a friend of mine, or we talk somehow, and we on a daily basis, or we're acquaintance somehow, if I offend you, or if I called you and I'm trying to get a hold of you, and you're offended by something that I've said, or you felt disrespected anyway, and you happen to be a friend of mine, what I would recommend highly is that you call me, or at least pick up the phone when I call you and have a conversation face to face over the phone, not a confrontation, a conversation. So that's all I ask. There's not going to be any bashing going on. There was a lot of that already done, which is kind of sad, to be honest with you. All I can say is, look, if there's something that I said that's offending you or somebody that you know, if we're friends and you know me personally, then you might want to give me a call and we can discuss it, rather than dropping a thumbnail within hours, creating clips, and then calling up a enemy of my enemies. It's probably a little bit easier just to work it out as a conversation, rather than dropping a thumbnail and creating a whole live stream to get views. Now, unfortunately, that's the world that we're in now. There is no more calling people up. This is not 1980 or 1990. People now have the luxury of using text messages, of using Instagrams now. There is no more where you're forced to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. People can hide behind confrontation. People are scared of confrontation. So rather than actually having a conversation, not a fight, a conversation, people are scared to have a confrontation. They don't want to talk. We're in a world now where it's easier to send somebody a text message, to send somebody an Instagram, a DM, than it is just to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. That's where I have issues with communication. Anybody who I talk to, anybody I Instagram, more than likely you're going to get a voice message from me. Why? Because I don't do Instagram. I don't do text messaging. I'm old, man. I'm from a generation where we actually picked up the phone and you had to call. There was no text messaging. There was no Instagram. There was none of that back in the day. There is this now. And that we've grown up in this generation, this technology, where rather than calling up somebody that you have a problem with, where you can easily just have a conversation with, this is the world that we live in, right? You rather create a thumbnail, get clips together within hours, and then go do a live stream in order to generate views and how you're upset and how I disrespected you or I'm blowing up your phone. Very easy just to give me a call and we can square it away. So going forward, guys, it's hard for me to actually open up and share with other content creators, invite people in my home. Because if I have a quarrel or if I have a tiff with them, they're quick to take my conversations and share them with the world. And that's the world that we live in. Now, this isn't something that I scheduled, and I'm not going to do this on my show because this doesn't need to be said on my show. This was something that was supposed to be in private between me and George. But rather than keeping it in house between me and George, it's easier for him to get the views and go make friends with Darth and look like a fool to get views. Basically, is what happened, and it's sad that that's the world that we're in now. And as a content creator, and that's the shit that I got to look out for. I got to watch who my friends are. I can't invite people into my apartment. And if I have a problem or if I have a quarrel with somebody or a tiff, if I blow their phone up, and now what's going to happen is they're going to record my conversations and they're going to release them on their live streams on their channels to get their views, because they know when they talk about me and they talk shit about me, it's going to get their views. So there was a lot of accusations made, a lot of false accusations about how I said I was going to rape someone's wife. It's not true. I've never said that. I want to make that perfectly clear that I've never said that I'm going to rape somebody's wife. Never have I ever said that. Never have I ever chatted that ever. So wanted to make sure that I came out here today to get that out and said, because I'm not doing this on my show. This doesn't deserve to be on my show. This was something that was supposed to be private between me and George. This is something that was not scheduled. I didn't have time to create a catchy thumbnail. I didn't have time to actually clip any clips. I'm not doing any of that. This was something that was supposed to be private between me and George. So I'm glad that he got his views. I'm glad that he made friends at Heroes Con and over me. But again, one thing I don't do, guys, is I'm not going to release my video. I'm not going to release my text messages. I'm not going to release any of that. That's something I don't do. That's girl shit. I grew up in a world where you call somebody, especially if I've offended you to the point where you offended my family. You have supposedly you're so outraged that I offended you. You would imagine that the very first thing that you would do if you're offended is call that person up and talk, at the very least, talk shit, right? Honor your spouse that I offended. Call me up, talk shit to me, tell me, man, what the fuck's going on? What you said? What? The normal person, that's their first reaction, is to call that person up, to somehow get a hold of them. If you can't meet them face to face and you try to call them, have a conversation, that's the normal reaction. This YouTube world, this content creator world, that's not the reaction. The reaction is, let me drop a thumbnail, call up Darth Lopez, put together clips, and do a live stream so that way I can get views because I'm upset. And it has nothing to do with me blowing up his phone. This was weeks in the making. And again, this is something that was between me and George. I'm going to keep it between me and George. George can go ahead and spill whatever beans he thinks he has. I didn't disrespect George's wife. George disrespected his wife. The way he talked to his wife that day, the way he treated her in the restaurant, and the argument they had was his wife kicking him out, not him removing himself. Like, no, bro, you had an argument with your wife. You were yelling at her. It was uncomfortable. You treated her like shit in the restaurant. I didn't do that. I'm a completely gentleman. I'm a gracious host. I treated you guys with nothing respect, especially your wife. I treated your wife better than you treated your wife that day. And that's why you got kicked out of the hotel room. That's why you were calling me from the parking lot, because she was pissed the way you were treating her. You disrespected your wife that day, not me. She doesn't like you. And that's what I said. Now, you guys could talk all the shit you want and put it all in any context you want, but that's the truth, guys. That's what happened. And we never had to go there. Never had to go there. If you just would have just picked up the phone like a man. In this world that we live in now, it's so quick to fucking DM somebody. Back in 80s and 90s, you didn't have that opportunity. You had to call somebody. You had to pick up the phone, bro. Now we live in this world, bro, where pussies can get behind a keyboard. They can they can fucking Instagram, Discord shit. This is ridiculous, guys. I'm obsessed with circumcision. I'm not obsessed with The guy says I'm obsessed with them. At the same time, he's pulling up stats for my video. I don't even know the stats on my video. This guy's like, I'm obsessed. He's obsessed with me. By the way, he has 30% retention. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? 30%. I don't even know the stats on my own video. These guys are watching so hard that they know the stats on my video. I don't even know the stats. I'm obsessed with you. Bro, you're giving me numbers on my videos. It's just really outrageous, and it's almost to the point where I don't have to step away for certain, just from just the certain individuals. Like I can't, you can't open yourself up. Like I can't even open up my home. Like that's how closed off you have to be. Because look at, bro, releasing messages, that's just some girl shit, man. Let's just be honest, guys. That's some girl shit. Ducking my phone calls is some girl shit. The reason why I'm blowing you up is because you're ducking me. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. You had to pick up and talk to a motherfucker. You couldn't go drop thumbnails, put Instagrams. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to continue. If you fuck with me, you're more than likely you're going to get a voicemail. You're going to get over a text message, because I don't text, bro. I communicate. This is how I communicate. And if you can't pick up the phone and talk to me, then you're not a fucking man. You don't know how to work out issues. Your way of working out an issue is doing a live stream about me, calling up somebody like Darth Lopez, creating a thumbnail within hours, rather than picking up the phone and saying, hey, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with you. I was at Heroes Con. People were in my ear. They told me some things. And hey, you know what? I don't want to work with you no more. It's a very simple phone call. Okay, I get it. I would have said, go fuck yourself. You could have probably had a little back and forth, but that would have been the end of it. There is no reason to take my recordings and then release them other than getting live streams and trying to be accepted in a community that already hates me. So there you guys go. Those are the facts. That's what happened. I didn't disrespect George's wife. I didn't tell anybody to go rape their wife. I didn't do any of that. Matter of fact, George disrespected his wife, guys. He kicked her out. She kicked him out because he was yelling at her. He was disrespecting her in the restaurant. It was uncomfortable. And unfortunately, this was supposed to be private, but George doesn't know how to talk to nobody. And not just George, but there's a lot of people who just don't know how to pick up a phone call. Who I've called, don't want to talk to me. They'd rather text message me and do a DM or drop a thumbnail than have a conversation. That's why I'm a little frustrated. Hard to make friends in the community when you can't talk to people. Guys, I'm out. Please support the channel. I won't be here this weekend. I'm going to be taking the weekend off. Going to get out some R&R. We'll be back the following weekend with late night after hours. And this weekend, there's going to be a release. Well, not this weekend. That's not. Hang on. Let me re-say this. Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Look for that. There's going to be release of my co-host for Football and Comic Book. Ceasefire Sunday is back. And until next time, check you later.